Hello everyone. Sometimes a simple little pepper breath can be enough to get the job done, or other times you need an oblivion bird to annihilate an entire city block. Welcome back to our tutorial series on Digimon Digital Adventure. Today, as we don't have much coming up before Digimon Con, I decided perhaps it should be a time to look back on this little series and to tell you all there is that you need to know to play Digimon Digital Adventure, the tabletop game for Digimon, much like D&D or Pathfinder or those that you've heard of before. And today, I thought we would dive into Area of Effect. This is something that I want to do a video on qualities, but this is one that is a very specific quality that needs to go in quite a bit of depth to fully understand the implications of everything that it can do. So, let us dive into the Area Effect quality and what all it can do for your Digimon that you're creating. Whenever you take this quality, it is 2 DP. So if you want any kind of area effect on any of your attacks, it will require an additional 2 DP for that attack. And every time you take this quality, you must choose a different one. Therefore, if you choose one of them, say, is Line, you cannot choose Line again for that form. So for that Digimon, you would have to buy this tag again and then apply it to a different attack and a different tag, different area type, all at once. So do remember that having AoEs can be fun and intense, but you can't have 3 of the same. You can't have 2 of the same either. If your attack were to hit multiple targets on the battlefield, then each one that is caught within that area of effect gains an additional number of dodge dice equal to their own RAM value. So therefore, most rookies here would only get a +1 to their dodge against it, but most ultimates and higher could possibly get 3, 4, maybe even 5 dice additional to their dodge. So this is a bigger problem the higher level that you go. Do keep in mind whenever you are picking one of your area attacks, you must know whether it can be applied to a melee or ranged, or sometimes to both, such as pass must always be put onto a melee attack. You can only keep their size to the smaller version if you are using it as a melee attack. Do keep in mind that you do not always have to use your area tag. If, like I said before, for Oblivion Bird, instead of wanting to destroy the entire city block, you just needed to hit that one target, you can do so. There is no penalty to you, and they do not get the bonus to dodge because you are not using it as an area of effect. So let us look into the area effects that you can choose. Blast is the most common one that you might think of. An Oblivion Bird sailing off into the distance and exploding, or something like a giant Terra Force that you grab and throw at your opponent. These are large area attacks. These are blasts. So, the diameter at base is 3 meters. So, even if you have no additional bonuses, you make it 3 meters in diameter. Still a fairly sizable... No, I apologize. This is a mistake even I make sometimes. This is a 3 meter radius. That is double the size. So, instead, it would be something like this. But you get to add your bit value to the diameter. So, for many Digimon, it would be a diameter of 4 to start and would only grow bigger from there. Here is a diameter of 4 meters, therefore a radius of 2. Make sure when you are drawing these that you put them in the center of the square as is shown here. Therefore your diameter of 3 is shown to be these 3 squares. The diameter of 4 actually only covers these 3 squares. Next we'll look at is burst. Burst attacks are something that radiate out from you in an aura. Many times I think of these as a wave of electricity that could shoot out from you, or when you roar out to cause a fear effect, if you also apply an effect tag to it, you could roar out to cause fear all around you. This would generally be a burst. Therefore, when you use your burst, you would just drag the same kind of shape as a attack, as a blast, but instead it originates around you. Therefore, you are not considered to be a target, though, so you can make these any harmful effects and not worry about hurting yourself. Additionally, the base radius is 1 meter. That means you will hit just everything that is adjacent to you. But you can add your bit value +1 to this. So, therefore, even a base value of 1. Remember, we're talking about radii now. We're not talking about diameters. This is slightly confusing at first because different sorts of effects have different terminology of what they add to. So we're looking now at something like this. But do keep in mind that this goes outward from you. So do bear in mind that if you were to use this formula and say take a big boy like Rordrikmon here and try to draw 1 meter out from his center, well, that hits nothing. That only hits his own size. Therefore, bursts are incredible when used by huge characters or characters of decent size, because 1 meter all around him would be here, but then when you start to add your bit value to it, you're starting to get enormous. There we go. Look at that. That looks so much more impressive than on the little Townbon. Plus his bit value as an ultimate would obviously be larger, so it'd be even bigger. But you get the idea. Bursts when you are a large character can especially be your friends. Or enemies if you're worried about not having selective targeting and don't want to hurt your allies. So do remember that all of these, unless you have a quality that says otherwise, will hit everything that is involved in them. So do keep that in mind. A close blast is very similar to a blast, except this is not something that you throw all the way over there. It is something that is right in front of you. This is a much more controlled burst that is right beside you. You might think of it like a breath weapon or something that fires out in a cone. Well, there's something else for that, but this is something very similar to that idea. Therefore, you choose a square that is adjacent to you, and then you draw a circle that is 2 meters plus your bit value in radius again. So remember this. So therefore, our base is a 3 meter radius. So your base would be anything like this. You could target any area such as this. Or this. You can be on a corner. It can just be 1 square that's adjacent to you. So long as you are adjacent to it, at least 1 square of it, it is a legal place to put this. But once again, as you are a higher level Digimon, your bit value will go up, and therefore it will be larger. Now, cones are definitely a bit of a tricky one to measure out, unless you have handy dandy tools such as Foundry here that I use. Knowing that a cone is just an equilateral triangle, so you know it's 3 meters on each side because it's a base of 3 meters. So therefore, your basic 3 meter cone would be this, except usually most would include also these extra 2 in between. You can add your bit value to the length. So this not only makes it longer, but eventually will make it wider as you go as well. So 3 meters, 4 meters, 5 meters. You can see as it grows outward, it also grows in size. Line attacks. Line attacks are pretty simple, but there are a couple of interesting things about them. First of all, typically your line starts adjacent to you once again and goes out 5 meters. Boom, done. Easy, not a problem, right? You may add double your bit value to the length to make it really long. Now, the trick is, though, that if you are any size category above large, you may add 1 to the width of this line. So Rordrikmon here, being huge, could make a line such as this even longer. But it doesn't stop there. You can also do something really cool with lines, and that is bounce them off of surfaces. Here, I didn't want to move to be able to hit multiple targets. You could start the line here, bounce it here, and hit the Renamon as well. Because it's double width, it would also hit both of them. This is a very interesting thing that makes lines much more versatile than you might initially think. And the final version of area attacks is the pass attack. Once again, this is an attack that can only be used on melee attacks, but it is, for all intents and purposes, charging through and stomping over everything in your way, or swiping at anything with your claws as you fly by, depending on what type of movement you have and what you might be thinking about. So you must have movement to do it, and therefore this is considered a complex action unless you have a quality that says otherwise, such as charge. So, therefore, when using this attack, you may go a number of distance equal to whatever movement you're using, plus an additional amount equal to your RAM score. So, therefore, in a line, this Oryxmon could go charging straight through these 3 enemies, because he's just that large, he would pass through all of them. Chomp, 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 chomp. And therefore, his attack would apply to all 3 of them. And again, if he does not have the charge quality, this is a complex action. If he does, it is only a standard or simple action. And it's AoE. Each one of these gets an additional bonus to their dodge equal to their RAM value, as always. And I think that just about covers it for your area of effect attacks. This should allow you to know all of the different attacks that you have to dodge, or you can use it for yourself in your own combats. What do you think? What do you think is some of the most interesting uses of a quality for area that you could use? Do you want to use a giant Terraforce to destroy everything? Do you want to lock down an area with an electric attack that paralyzes everybody? Do remember, not all of these have to do damage. If you don't have a damage tag, you can do effects as well. Combine these to make what you want your Digimon to be. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more. Thank you everyone for making me up to 1,000 subscribers. We are now a YouTube partner, so this makes it all the more exciting and better for me to make videos for all of you. And remember everyone, keep staying awesome. Till the next one, take care. Bye bye.